So, but you understand, you know what that's about. Yeah, Isaiah 54 and 7, it says, "For a small moment I have forsaken thee, but with great mercies I will gather thee."
Yeah, so the Lord, by us being forsaken as a race of people, as a nation, it was a small period of time. That's all it was. The 400 years, 500 years to be exact, that was a small period of time. Because what is one day to the Lord? Let's get that in 1 Peter's 3. 1 Peter's 3 and something, man. I think it's 3:15. One day to the Lord is as 1,000 years. So what's 500 years? That's like what, half of that's like what, 12 hours?
12 hours, yeah, half a day to the Most High.
That's nothing, man. So 500 years ain't nothing to in comparisons to the heavens.
Yeah.
So this was a short moment that he forsake us. Now we're being risen back up in the third day. Which we're gonna go into that next. Go on, brother. Let me see if I can
It's definitely First Peter, yeah.
yeah, I think it's Second Peter. Try Second Peter.
Yeah, free around 13, somewhere around there. Second Peter's 3, around 9. Got it?
All right, go on.
Yeah. 2 Peter 3 and 8, it says, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years,
Right.
and 1,000 years as one day."
Right, and it's 1,000 years is just one day. So 1,000 years to us is like forever, but to the Lord it's one day. So it was for a short period of time, the 500 years, 12 hours that we were forsaken for a short. That was a short period of time. So let's go back to what you was reading before, brother.
Yeah, Isaiah 54 and 7.
And see when you connect these precepts together, you find out that the Bible has no contradiction. People that say that the Bible has a contradiction, they don't know the Bible. They haven't read it. Go on.
It says, for
They might have read it, but they read it the wrong way. So like it,
for a small moment I have forsaken thee,
Right.
but with great mercies I will gather thee.
but with great mercies I will gather thee. Go on.
In a little wrath I hid my face from thee
Yeah.
for a moment, but with everlasting kindness.
With everlasting kindness. What is the everlasting kindness? Oh, what you got? Give me Daniel 7, brother. Daniel 7 and 20. Start from verse 21. And then we're gonna go back to what you was reading off on. Daniel 7 and
18.
yeah, try 18, yeah.
Daniel 7 and 18
Yeah.
says, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever."
Right, so that's just the difference between us and the other nations, because the Lord, see, the Most High is just and equal. What he did was he gave, let me see, the Lord gave all of them other nations the time to rule. Like, for example, the Iraqis today, the people of Syria today, they used to rule at one time. There was known as the Assyrian Empire, okay? And also you had the Ethiopian people, which they began the first empire, which was the Tower of Babel. So they ruled for a period of time. And then who else you had, man? You had right, the Greeks.
Medes.
But before that you had the Persians.
Yeah.
Which the Persian crew now, that's those people in Iran, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Where else, man?
Elam.
Yeah, that's Elam. That's what I wanted to say, Elam. People in Afghanistan, India, in those kind of areas.
Yeah.
All right? That's Persia. So they were in power ruling along with the Medes, which the Medes are those people down there in the Samoan Islands, the people of Jaffa. You know? So the Most High gave them their time to rule.
Yeah.
All right? But our time is going to be forever.
Yeah.
The saints going. We're going to prove who the saints are. Furthermore, I'm not going to just say the saints. We're going to back it up and prove it.
So, verse 54, Isaiah 54 and 8. "In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness I will have mercy on
Read a
thee.
bit louder, brother.
But with everlasting kindness I will have mercy on thee,
Yep.
saith the Lord thy Redeemer."
Yep. Oh, and it says thy redeemer. What does the word redeem mean? Can't forget about that word. The word redeem means to buy back. That's why when you read about the New Testament, it talks about the redemption. So Yahweh Shai came to redeem that what which was lost. What was lost? Lost. That's why he likened in Matthew 10 the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Okay? So we're gonna get to that later on.
That's it on there.
Yeah. Matter of fact, read that again, because I lost my train of thought. I wanted to deal with something else.
Let me just bring out just this.
All right, go on.
So Matthew 18:11 says, "For the Son of Man, which is Yahushua, is come to save that which was lost."
Okay, so you read it anyway. So Yahushua came to Yahushua came to save that which is lost. So what was lost? Those that were lost were what? Get Matthew 10, brother. Matthew 10, verse 5. What did he tell the disciples?
Matthew 10 and 5 says, "These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city
The Samaritans.
Samaritans enter ye not,
Yeah?
but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel."
Go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Go on.
"And as ye go, preach, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand."
So that's what we're doing right now. So back then you had the disciples of the Lord, who the world called Jesus Christ back then. They were doing their work. So we're to do that same thing all over again. The gospel has not changed. We're fulfilling the book of Acts again. In the book of Acts, you had the apostles, Paul, which was also known as, if I'm correct, Saul at one time in the book of Acts. Right? And he had other men that was under him. He had, Timothy and other guys. And they were preaching to who? Israelites. So we're to do the same thing now. If we go out and do something else quite contrary to that, now we're going up. And that's what these pastors are doing. These adultery committing pastors are doing. And these pedophiles are doing. They're going out there preaching everybody can get away for the salvation. And they only doing that because it's a money get up. They got to maintain that lavish lifestyle. That mansion, that jet that they got. You know? But we don't have nothing to read. Listen, man. You know, brothers got jobs and everything. Brothers are doing all right. But we're not going to sacrifice the word of the Lord for this world. We're not going to do that because we're aiming higher and bigger.
Right.
Okay? Go on, bro. All right. Give me that. Well, you ain't got nothing.
No, that's it.
Okay, yeah, get me right, Luke, give me Luke 14. No, give me John 10. John chapter 10, start from verse 14. Yeah, this is my new favorite scripture. Because the main intention right here now, in this day and age, is to gather the sheep of Israel to what the truth. As we just read in John 17 and 17, it says to sanctify to the truth, thy word is true. Go on.
This is John 10 and 14. It says, "I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine.
Right.
As the Father knoweth me."
Who is he speaking, brother? Yahushua, right? Go on.
"As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep."
And I laid down my life for the sheep. He did lay his life down for the sheep. And the sheep is talking about Israel. Okay, it's metaphorical. Go on.
Verse 16, "And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold,
Yeah.
them also must I bring."
So
I must bring.
I'm gonna put you brothers on blast. So who is the other sheep talking about? That is not of their fold.
The other sheep is going to be
No?
Because back then, it was mainly predominantly Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
Right.
The other sheep are
the northern.
Exactly. And that's what's happening right now. When you go to America, right? What do you see? You see, and I want to shout them brothers out. The brothers of the Ancient of Days camp, GMS. Ancient of Days. They got two camps. They got the camps with the so-called Negroes teaching the doctrine, and you also got the Latinos teaching the doctrine in Spanish. And then you have the camp. There's a main camp that they have, which they're all amalgamated together. Okay. So that's the kingdom of Israel coming all together. Which we can even get that in the book of Ezekiel 37, like I just said before. So that stick is coming back together. Because we look different, and there was a time where the Latinos didn't really like the so-called blacks and what have you, but that's dying out. What's happening right now is we coming together through the word.
Yeah.
The reason why we've been divided, because it goes back to Jeroboam, really goes back there, because of the sin of Solomon. Matter of fact, give me that in what is it, 1 Kings 11, brother.
Yeah.
This is going into the history. It's really the law split the tribe of Israel up for them to be 2 kingdoms. Okay?
Yeah.
And then also, you can also get me Jeremiah 17:4. Well, she's gonna smoke a cigarette, right?
No, she just said thank you. She said thank you.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so the tribes are coming back together.
Yeah. You got the house of Joseph too.
Yeah, you got the house of Joseph.
Split off Man of Valor,
Yeah.
and then you got Man of Valor 13. But I think the name is the house of Joseph. Predominantly the tribes, the northern tribes,
Yeah.
and they speak Spanish too. They speak Spanish too, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got brothers in Mexico pushing the word. You got brothers in Mexico wearing the same garments we rock. Spitting the same image, spitting the same kind of knowledge we. I don't want to use that term spit, you know what I mean? That's something the rap uses. But we speaking the same thing, man. All right? So it's all coming together. So everything's coming together. So we got it, yeah?
Yeah.
Go on.
Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
All right, go on.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger,
Right.
which shall burn forever.
It shall burn forever, meaning for an age or an eon. It's not talking about literally forever. It's talking about an eon. You have to know what it's talking about. Look up the word, okay? Matter of fact, brother, go look up that word for forever. Because if that was really true, then there would be no Messiah. There would be no Yahushua. There would be no reconciliation.
You would be standing on the street doing it.
Exactly. So we have to understand what it's saying. If all thy getting, get understanding. That's in, what is it, Proverbs 4. Proverbs 4. It says, with all thy wisdom, get understanding. I think it's 3 and 5. Proverbs 3
Can I
and
ask
5.
you a question?
Yeah.
You see, the Most High, he only made a covenant with Jacob.
Exactly. Not
He
only
didn't-
Jacob, but the
Abraham, sorry.
Right, Abraham. The covenant went down to Abraham, and then it all the way down to Jacob and his 12 sons.
Did the Canaanites have a covenant?
No. No. Not at all. Yes, so brothers, we got something. Let it be known.
Yeah, I got 1 Kings 11.
Yeah.
Where did you want it from?
Now about the tribes. We was talking about the tribes split. We'll start from verse 4. Where it speaks about, let me see something. That's it right there.
Verse 4, 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 4. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wife turned away his heart after their gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his power,
Yeah.
and was the heart of David his father.
Yeah.
For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess
Yeah.
of the
That
Zidonians,
was a very nasty thing that Solomon did, man. Go on.
after Milcom,
Especially a man of his class. And I'm looking for another word.
Status.
Yeah.
Stature. Status. Yeah.
Caliber, I wanted to say. A man of his caliber, Go on.
and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites.
And but you know, I gotta say this too. The reason why he did that, because he was in the flesh. He had the corruptible bodies. That's why he did that. Go on, brother. Because you gotta understand, you gotta go deep in this knowledge. What did Paul say? It's matter of fact, I'll tell you what, hold that, give me Romans 7, brother. Hold on to that, and then give me Romans 7. What was Paul speaking about?
Though I be in the flesh, I do that which I would not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's in Romans 7. Just read the whole. Read, try to find the point. You can stop at verse 5 or something.
Romans 7 and 5, for when we were in the flesh, the motions of sin, which were by the law, did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death.
Yep, go on.
But now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held,
Yep.
that we should serve in newness of spirit and not in the oldness of the latter.
Right, which is the law. Go on.
What shall we say then? Is the law sin? Most I forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law.
Okay.
For I had not known lust except the law had said, thou shalt not covet.
All right.
But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of consumptuousness. For without the law, sin was dead.
Right, without the law, sin was dead. Go on.
For I was alive without the law once, but with the commandment came, sin revived, and I died.
All right, keep going.
And the commandment which was ordained to life, I found to be unto death. For sin taking occasion by the commandment deceived me, and by it slew me.
Yeah.
Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy,
Yeah.
and just and good.
Okay, go on.
Was then that which is good made death unto me? Most I forbid.
Yeah.
But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by
Exactly.
that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful.
Right.
For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal,
So
sold unto sin.
that's the point. That's why Solomon went off, because it said that he went old, didn't he?
Yeah.
So when a man naturally gets old, or a woman naturally gets old, they tend to lose their senses. They tend to lose their grip. They start getting weak in the mind, because if Solomon was a young man, he wouldn't not even done that. He wouldn't have went close to doing what he did. He actually went as far as building the temple for those Moabites, so they can worship their gods, the god of Ammon. Excuse me. That's what he did. So that's a man he didn't know what he was doing. That was a man of old age. He knew better. He did know better, but he just lost his grip. That's what happens when you get old. You start losing your grip. You understand? Because he was sold on the sin in the flesh. He was corruptible. Go on.
For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that I do not. But
Yeah.
what I hate, that do I.
That's what Solomon was going through. He was doing something that he would hate if he was a young man. So go back to, what is it, Kings, brother?
1 Kings chapter 11, verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300
So
concubines.
he had 1,000 women. When you add all the numbers together, you got 1,000 women. So a man can have more than one woman. It's fine, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Go on.
And his wife turned away his heart. For it was come to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart
Yeah.
after other gods.
After other gods, go on.
And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his power,
Yep.
and was the heart of David his father.
Right in the heart of David, his father. Go on.
For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians,
And the Ammonites, go on.
after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites.
Yep.
And Solomon
Oh,
did,
Milcah's the god of the Ammonites. Excuse me, Salaki, go on.
and Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord Yahweh,
Yep.
and went not fully after the Lord,
Yep.
as did David his father.
Right.
Then did Solomon build an high place for Shemosh,
Yeah, that was just terrible. That was a terrible, terrible thing. He built a temple for the Ammonites. Go on.
the abomination of Moab.
I mean Moab. Excuse me, Moab. 'Cause that was one of the key gods of Moab, Chemosh.
Oh, can I ask one question, please? So that's telling us.
You're finished, man.
So that's instruction for us.
Right, not to worship those gods, because it says in the commandment. It says in the commandment in Exodus, what is it, chapter 20? It says, "Thou shalt not worship any other god before the Lord."
Yeah, but it was a woman that but it was the woman that made him
Yeah,
turn to that.
you made him turn to that, but you got to understand he's of an old age. All right, but it does say that in the Apocrypha that many have turned away to
Yeah.
Satan because of women.
Yeah.
Many have
Give their strength to the
served
woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woman is more stronger than what a lot of men think.
Yeah,
But it's also showing you, like he's talking about the weakness of the flesh, man.
Yeah.
Remember, Solomon was the wisest man on earth, man.
Right.
Exactly.
Go from that
Yeah.
to that.
yeah,
That's crazy.
exactly.
And if it could, so the moral of the story is, if it can happen to Solomon,
It can happen to us.
Anyone can happen to
be
me.
careful it don't happen to you. It ain't gonna happen to you, but be careful. If it did it to him,
Yeah.
potentially it could happen to
It
you.
could happen to you.
So that's why that's kind of an instruction,
Right.
a warning.
Yeah.
Right. There's an instruction, yeah. Well, you're right. It is an instruction. It says
right,
all
right.
these things was written for our learning. Okay? Go on, bro.
Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon.
Yeah.
And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods.
To the gods, yeah. Keep going.
And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord his power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice.
Yeah.
And he commanded him concerning the thing that he should not go after the other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord commanded.
Right, because he was old, man. The man was, again, when you get old, you lose your grip, man. That's what was going on with Solomon.
He was overpowered. Too much woman around, man.
Yeah, this is the woman.
They overpowered his ass.
Yeah.
They might have had a little thing. They spoke. Women talk.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they were
yeah.
talking among themselves. Yeah, we get him. If we get him there, we can get him. Yeah, we got him now. But women always plan, man. They
Yeah,
plan.
they do.
It's like, yeah.
Women are naturally because they're the weaker vessel. So,
Yeah.
And it's in the law also that you can take a wife of your own nation, but don't make wives of the other nations.
Yeah.
Because it's going to bring in that different spirit.
Can't.
You can have them as concubines, but not as wives.
Yeah.
Started marrying them.
he went way off the totem pole, man. But that all goes back because he was in the flesh. Go on, bro.
And likewise did he for all the strange wives which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was...
And if you notice, when Yahweh Shah came back on the scene, he didn't have no woman.
Yeah.
Because Yahweh Shah knew back in his past, probably, right, that this is what was going on with him.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
And his heart was turned from the Lord power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. And he commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after the other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord Yahweh commanded. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes,
Now we're going to go back to the point now.
which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee,
How would he rend the kingdom from him? Let's read on.
and will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son.
Okay, which is Jeroboam. Go on.
Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son, for David my servant's sake.
Right, and the word, what it's talking about, it ain't just talking about Judah. It's talking about, and that's why you have these lower level individuals that don't really know the Bible too much. They'll read that scripture and they'll say, oh, it's just the tribe of Judah. You know, the house of David is just Judah. No, the house of David only had the kingdom of Judah. In other words, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. That was the one tribe. Go on.
Notwithstanding, in the days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of thy hand of thy son. Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son for David, for my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake I have chosen.
Right, and for Jerusalem's sake I have chosen. In other words, the kingdom of Judah again. They represented Jerusalem. So he was going to give another tribe to his son. And the son was what? Jeroboam. So he took the northern kingdom, split it up. And that's where the split came from. Alright? It came before Esau. You're going to bounce, right?
Bounce. Yeah, number one, 1 Kings 11 and 14.
Alright, brother. Shalom, Mark. You're gonna be back. You're gonna be at the castle?
Yeah.
Alright, man.
I'll probably give it a Monday. The direction.
Okay, that's alright. That's alright. Well, I mean, all you gotta do is,
Once I get to Victoria,
once you get to Victoria, I'll be on my way. So,
okay, fine.
yeah, go on.
Right. First Kings then. 1 Kings 11 and 14. And the Lord Yahweh stirred up an adversary unto Solomon. Hadad the Edomite, he was of the king's seed in Edom.
Okay.
For it came to pass, when David was in Edom, and Joab the captain of the host was gone up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom. For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel, until he had cut off every male in Edom.
So the thing that's going into something else, man. It's
Yeah, go up a couple of verses. Go down to like verse 12 or something.
Start at 9. 1 Kings 11 and 9, it says, and the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord power of Israel,
Shalom, brother.
which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord commanded. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, forasmuch as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding in thy days, I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son.
Right, I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Go on.
Howbeit I will not rend away all the kingdom, but I will give one tribe to thy son,
Okay.
for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen.
Right, because the northern kingdom, they were going off anyway. So he said, look, you want to follow Jeroboam, you follow him. You know, and that's really when that's when the tribe split. Esau didn't split the tribe. It was the Lord that split the tribe first during the time of Solomon. Because before Solomon came on the scene, all of the tribes were together. But the Lord is going to restore that back in the days of David again. Because the house of David is going to be established, which we are that house. Like you got Donald Trump and these crazy nutcases in government. They're looking for the third temple, but the third temple is over here. The third temple are the men that have the kingdom within them. We're the temple. All right. And that's why when you read, I believe it's in Kings, 1 Kings chapter 10, it also speaks about how this man would be beaten with many stripes. Now, was Solomon beaten with many stripes in his day? No. But when he came back in the reincarnation of Yahushua, that's when that was fulfilled. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fast forward into the time being that we have now. Let's get Ezekiel 37, brother.
Which you want?
Yeah, start from verse 1.
Ezekiel 37. The hand of Yahweh was upon me, and carried me out of the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley which was full of bones, and caused me to pass them around about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very, very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O
And
Lord.
the reason why they were very dry, because they didn't have the water or the oil. They didn't have the moisture, which is his word, his truth going.
And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord, power, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord power unto these bones. Behold, I will cause breath to enter into
So it says, I will
ye
cause.
shall live.
Exactly. So it says
Just hold
that
that 1 second.
the Lord will cause breath to enter into the men of Israel, and that they shall live. Revelations 11 and 8. What is the breath? What is that breath? I tried looking for the brother.
Revelation 11 and 8.
Keep going.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
Which also our Lord was crucified. So in the land of our captivity, which was America, and how was the Lord crucified? Because the word crucifixion or crucified which means the crossing out. What was crossed out? His image was crossed out. And also the knowledge and understanding was crossed out. That's why it speaks about the falling away first, pursuant to 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. So we all fell away as a nation, his truth fell away and his image fell away. So he was crossed out. Go on, brother.
Verse 6, Ezekiel 37 and 6. I will lay sinews upon you, and I will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in
So
you.
what the skin is talking about is that outwardly we would practice exactly what we're preaching. Okay, go on.
And ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord.
And more so, let's get what you got. Give me Judges the 5th chapter. You know what I want. In the land of their captivity.
Judges 5 and 11. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of the villages in Israel.
Exactly. So that's all I wanted. So that's the valley. So in the valley, we're going to rehearse the righteous acts in the land of our captivity, which is the valley that we are in right now. And by that being the case, we're going to be moistened and we're going to be risen back up again. Those bones are going to come together, bone to his bone. We're going to read it. Let's read it. Go on, brother.
So Ezekiel 37 and 7. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied there was a noise, and behold a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone.
The resurrection, go on.
And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above.
So it says the skin covered them above. In other words, because we kept the commandments, this is actually talking about rehearsing the righteous acts in the land of our captivity. That's what that's going into. Go on, bro.
It says, but there was no breath in them.
Yeah, because you got certain Israelites that do know how to keep the commandments and know how to do certain Passover, high holy days and stuff, but they don't have the complete truth. They don't have the wisdom. All right, go on.
Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind.
Yeah.
Prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith the Lord power, come from the four winds.
Why does it say come from the four winds? Because we were scattered into the four winds of the earth. So all the Israel that have been scattered abroad, they're gonna get the salvation. And it proves that prophecy has been fulfilled already, because through the World Wide Web, we were able to get this truth. I didn't get this truth when I was in America. I got this truth when I was down here. Okay, go on. And other brothers too, you brothers can talk as well about that. Go on, bro.
Thus saith the Lord power, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain.
And breathe upon these slain. What is the breath and what is the breath talking about again? The spirit of life that entered into them. So that's what we're breathing onto you. We're breathing onto you the spirit of life, pursuant to Revelation 11, verse what, brother?
9.
Okay, go on.
Well, I'm at verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded
You don't focus on that. Don't focus on that. I know it's getting on your nerves, but just try to, stay focused on the spirit.
So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet.
And they lived and they stood upon their feet.
In an exceeding army.
Go back and get Revelation 11. Read verse Psalm 10. Matter of fact, read verse 8 and read all the way up to 9. It says they stood upon their feet as an exceeding great army, right? So let's read this.
Revelation 11 and 8. And the dead body shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Which is America. There's a lot of Sodomites in America, and there's a lot of promotion of that sort of agenda going on in that land as well. Go on.
Where also our Lord was crucified.